Welcome, welcome. Gonna let some people filter in here. Hello, Gail. Good to talk to you. It's been a long time, all the way since yesterday. Oh, I see some people I know. Cassandra, Jaron Parker. I met your colleague a couple days ago at the Novi Summit, actually, if you can hear me, Jaron. Uh, I've known Chip for a while. Yeah, he said he sent this on over to you. So he said a lot of pressure on me. Kelly Casey, good to see ya. See who else I know. There's two Cassandras, Blasting Games. She's that excited. She's got it on two devices. All right, I'm gonna give it 11:02. I'm gonna give it about one more minute, everybody, before I jump in. Now, while we're waiting, does everybody want to write in what is the weather like near you? I will start. I'm in Philadelphia, and it's actually sunny finally, and it's going to be 50 degrees today. So go ahead and hopefully, if you're listening to me, write in that chat the weather near you. Hopefully, it's getting warmer for everybody. Oops, sunny in Chicago. All right, Orlando, Florida, 77 degrees. Maryland, yep. Up, Gail. All right, you're the coldest one yet, I think. Hey, Aubrey. Ooh, high of 50 in Chicago, 61 and sunny near Atlanta. I was just there, Amber, at an Alliance conference. It was very nice. It was 60s as well last week. All right, I'm gonna give one more minute. Looks like there's someone else just came in. All right. I think I am going to go ahead and get started. So, you all should see my face, which I apologize about ahead of time, but you do get to see my nice bow tie. And you should be seeing a PowerPoint from Search to AI Discovery. Can I just get a yes from anyone, any volunteer? Okay, Amber, perfect. Thank you so much. So I'm really excited. Oh, Cassandra, St. Louis, 76 degrees today. Oh my God, that's almost as good as Orlando. Um, so I'm really excited to be here today. A little background, I wanted to do about 10 webinars this year. So I've done one already with a partner. Um, I know education via my customers because, obviously I sell a learning management system. But what have really become an expert in just since really last July-ish is really when I started focusing on it. Eh, June, July, is marketing. Um, all of you, do some sort of marketing, whether you're marketing to get sponsors, memberships, or to sell your courses. We're all marketers here. So that's kind of where I came with my story. And so if you're here and you are an absolute expert on SEO, you know everything about AEO, a lot of this is going to be, you will know a lot of this. There probably is going to be a couple nuggets because I do have some inside information from a friend who's doing a PhD in what we're talking about today relating to AI and search. Um, if you are relatively newer, you do some, this is going to be really nice for you. If you don't know anything about AEO, and when I say AEO, that's search for AI, this one will be really cool for you, and you should get some immediate takeaways. That's my goal at the end. I'll ask a poll. Hopefully you have taken at least one takeaway. So without further ado, I am going to jump into things. So I'm actually going to start with a poll. I want to try and keep this a little bit more interactive. So I'm going to launch a poll right now. All right, so poll one, who has used an LLM to search for something they used to use Google for in the last week? So would you normally go on Google and search for something, but instead you said, oh, I'm going to use a LLM. Good. I got one. What's an LLM? That's why I haven't been giving explaining what it stands for. Okay, I think we almost got everybody. Ah, yes, you're all participating. Thank you. And everyone, I didn't, please ask as many questions as you want. I like this much more interactive. I hate just talking. So it looks like yes, just about a little less than half, 44% have used an LLM. And for those of you who wrote, what is an LLM? Large language model. Shorthand, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Claude. So instead of searching, find me a, black pair of shoes in Google, right? You went to, ChatGPT and said, oh, help me find a black pair of shoes, as an example. So what you can see, I'm going to end the poll here. So that should be gone, everybody. Oh, I can share the results. Oof, 90% participation. All right, I will stop sharing the poll results. And in the future, let me know if I'm doing this too quickly, somebody. So what you see here, why do LLMs matter for search? So what we've seen is about 50% of consumers now, I'm going to use this little thing, about 50% of consumers are using LLMs for search. So why does that matter? Well, a lot of, your members, non-members, etc., are finding your content, your membership value, whatever it might be that you're trying to offer them via Google, and now it's switching here to AI. And as a lot of you might have noticed, you used to search, ask a question, what is the best restaurant in my area? And now Google is actually giving you the answer right away. So it's never making it to what we call the search engine results pages, right? Where you used to try and rank 1, 2, and 3. So this is getting more and more important. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about heavily today. All right. I'm going to do another poll, and then there's going to be a break. Don't worry. I'm not going to poll you every slide. All right. So I want to get a sense, how big is your marketing staff? Awesome. Good participation. 40% so far, everyone. 12, 13, 14. All right. Couple stragglers, but we just about got it. So let's end the poll here and let's share the results. So a few of you, less than one employee. I would say it looks like the majority of you between 1 and 2 employees. And then about 6 of you have got greater than 3 employees. So really a hodgepodge here. But so the reason I'm sharing this, and I'm going to stop sharing this poll results now, is because I am a team of one. It's me, myself, and Sam. Before me, it was owner led. He did all the sales and really zero marketing besides going to conferences. Nothing for SEO, nothing even close to AEO. And so I was not a marketer by training. I'm a one-person team. I did this by myself. So if I can do it, there is no reason any of you can't do it. So before I jump into the deep end, this is not gonna be, oh, do this one thing and your results are gonna skyrocket. SEO and AEO is a long-term strategy that bear results over a period of time. So after a couple months, you'll start to see results, but it's a tree that keeps on giving. There's not really any, tricks. There's one slide where I have some quote unquote hacks. So you'll get some good takeaways because there is some stuff AI likes more than not. But again, you shouldn't expect instant results. So, all of you here, I think for the most part, work for an association. So this is really going to apply to everything. So for all my education folks, which is a lot of you, right? Don't you want people when they search either in Google or ChatGPT for, to find courses for credit, to find your courses, right? Or specific courses? Don't you want your members to find you, certifications, right? Whatever it might be, you want to be found as an organization. So let's go to about 6 months ago, a little more than that now by the time I wrote this a little while ago. But so basically, where I started was I had a couple inbound leads organically. When I say organic, that means I mean SEO. And I had zero leads. Nothing was coming in from AI. No one was saying, "Oh, I found you on ChatGPT." And then here, after about 6 months, is my snapshot. There's actually been a few more of these since I wrote this, but basically, I've got 18 leads from Google, 8 ChatGPT leads. So people were, I always ask, people are saying, "Oh, I found you on ChatGPT." Um, and then 6 of those, right, turns into paying customers. And for those of you who are customers, this is not a transactional sale of $100. These are 5-figure deals. So this effort I put in really resulted in more revenue than input. So this is possible for all of you. Okay. So you all as associations are actually in a much better spot than me. I'm a business to business brand. Building trust is very difficult, right? Because, if you a company right here, that's the salesperson. Oh, he's going to say whatever he's going to say is the best product, right? Associations, you're not like that. One, I'll talk about a little later, but you all are .orgs. Why does that matter? It helps with your organic rankings automatically. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But based on who you are, right? Your nonprofits, a lot of you, education is your mission. And then for I think almost everyone here, you've been around a while. So having just an internet presence since the 2000s or earlier actually really helps with ranking organically. It shows, you're not some scam company. Google, right, does take that into account. Um, AI does not, as far as I can tell, really take that into account as much. Okay. So I would say where I started at, again, this is my journey applied to you all, is you still need a strong website foundation, right? Let's say you figure out how to get 1 million people to your website. Well, that doesn't really mean anything if they're bouncing right away, right? Because they're like, I don't understand. What am I buying? So just to show you, hopefully you all can see this. Um, on the left was our old website. It's a little blurry, but that is basically that's what it looked like. You'd go on, you'd scroll and scroll and scroll, and then you'd get to content. You would have thought it was built in 2005 and wasn't a working website. So getting people to the website is what we're talking about today, but you still have to have the foundation of once they're there, what's it look like? And then on the left is the one I created. And I really just tried to get something up eh, in a week or two. We used a firm that was really $1,500 for an entire website. Used a template, but very inexpensive because, to me, speed is very important. All right, so let's move on. So the first thing we're going to talk about is classic SEO. I didn't do a poll on this, but everybody, um, if you know what SEO is or doing SEO on a weekly basis, just give an emoji, give a thumbs up, give me a yes in the chat. Yay, Anna. All right, she's my first. Yeah. Okay, so Anna, Jerron, perfect. And if not a lot of you are, then this is going to be super helpful. Mary Beth. Okay. So I've got two options. Either none of you are paying attention, which is hopefully not the case, or two, a lot of you aren't doing SEO on a regular basis. So this next part will be really helpful. Anna, Mary Beth, Cassandra, Jerron, this should hopefully reaffirm what you're doing. But also there's going to be some good stuff soon. Aubrey, correct, not doing it. Okay, thank you. So there's really some big parts of SEO, and then I wrote, and don't forget Gemini. So I'll show you an example, but right now you probably all have noticed a lot of times you type, you get a search answer right above. So I'll show you an example of that. But keyword search, right, is still important. So for me, right, remember I sell on LMS in certain verticals. I was looking for keywords like association LMS, healthcare LMS, continuing education, right? So I want to rank when people type those words. Um, their search intent, right? So what is someone really looking for? Do they want information? Are they ready to buy? Internal linking. So right, is stuff within my website linked correctly? And then technical optimization. So are things fast? So I'll go a little bit more into those. Just got to clear my drawings here. All right, so got another poll for you here. Who here's familiar with domain scores? All right. Looks like the majority of you are not familiar with domain scores, so this is good. Um, so all right, I'm gonna end the poll. I think we got most of you. Share results. So about 69% are not familiar with a domain authority, domain score. I might have missaid it, but you'll all see in a second. So the first thing I like to do is see how powerful my domain is. So there's this website here, and I am going to switch now over to my browser. So please yell out if someone put in the chat if you cannot see this, but I'm going to assume you can all see it. So this is a free tool. And actually, I'm going to drop it right in here. Try not to I'll wait a second actually so you don't get distracted. But so what you do is you can go to this free tool and put in your website. So I'm going to put in this. This is not an official score. This is using a paid product, but this is a free tool. And it gives you an estimation of your domain rating. What domain rating is, it says right here, it's the strength of your backlink profile. For those of you not familiar, a backlink is when somebody links their website to you all, meaning I have this great blog, somebody writes a page and says, oh, hey, go check out Sam's blog on his website. And the reason this is important is because that means it makes my website have more authority. So like by default, .orgs, .edus, those automatically Google ranks those higher. So I'm going to assume, Gail, you don't mind, and I'm going to put in yours as an example. This isn't proprietary. Anyone could be doing this. Right, so 62. So that's actually pretty solid. When you're a new website, you usually start at like 5. So domain rating is very important. And that was important for me because the higher your domain rating, kind of the quicker the stuff you publish will rank. So, for example, I am going to open up a private browser. Why am I doing a private browser? Because Google kind of remembers your search history. So I try and take that out of its wheelhouse. And I'm going to type in my big keyword, association LMS. This is what I wanted to rank for. I did not rank for this at all. And after 6 or so months, you'll see right here, I ranked first with it. So I was super happy about that. It took me a while, but it was basically this page I built I was targeting it to do association LMS. Now, what's changed by the time, but things have changed so radically is you'll see here, now there's this whole AI overview. So now not only do you have to try and get to rank number 1, but you could rank 1 and not rank in this AI overview. And just think about yourself when you look at this. Like, again, put it in the chat. Who here is looking at the AI overview and not even searching for these results? Drop that in the chat if you've done that before. Right? Do both sometimes. And so Brittany, hello. Yep, Angie. Okay, a lot of people are doing both. As a brand, the more people see you, the better, right? So for me, this was great that one, I'm right here. So I'm here in the references. That's one place. I'm here again, shown here. I'm here as a top provider. And then I'm here again, right? So that's 4 times I'm showing up. So you don't want to just be in one. Ideally, you're in all of them for your major keywords. Um, how did I do it? This is I basically, all the common stuff, right? You want words like your target to be in your H1s, your H2s, your H3s. Honestly, I'll show you in a little bit, but I asked ChatGPT. It can give you all the answers. I had links come to here specifically from like our partners, and it has to be relevant. And then I'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, so let's go back to my lovely PowerPoint. Now, you'll see here, I just had this little stat. Gemini has 35 million daily users versus ChatGPT's 190 million daily users. So, and I will say Gemini, because it's Google, does, this is just my opinion, seem to weight domain authority. ChatGPT, from what I can have seen so far, really doesn't care about domain authority. Gemini, because it's related to Google, right? It's owned by Google, it's the same company, seems to care about domain authority a little bit more. Okay, so SEO basics. Um, anyone who, right, what I'm going to talk about now is keyword search. So I'm just going to take you through the process I did. Okay, we're doing good on time. I talk fast, and I'm always worried I'm going to run out of time, and like I'm so good on time here. But everyone, please ask questions as we're going through this. Please don't hesitate. So basically, what you want to figure out when you launch a new course, certification, you're trying to get more membership, right? What is my audience searching for? Like, what are they typing into Google is the classic thing you want to start with. So for me, it's, association LMS, LMS for healthcare, LMS for associations. Google has, or generally in SEO, there's something called keyword clusters, right? So LMS for association, association LMS, LMS for my large association. We could kind of cluster those together and have one page that targets those, right? And so that's essentially what I ended up doing here. These screenshots are a little tough to read. But what I really did was, it's not really a hack. If you don't know where to start, just look at your competitors. So if you have a competitor who offers particular courses that are similar to yours, a certification, membership, right? You all probably have at least one competitor. If not, that is kind of a good problem, I would say, or a bad problem because maybe it means your offering's not good because there's a reason nobody's offered it, right? But I just looked at my competitors. So the first thing I did was I used Uber Suggest. I'll drop that in here. There's also companies called Ahrefs. You can Google Moz. I just put that in the chat for everybody. What it does is you can pull a list of all the keywords that your competitors rank for. It is semi-estimated, but it's quite good. And so let me see. So what I did, Blue when they were Blue Sky, they're not Blue Sky anymore. They got bought by Momentive, right? But this is again, you guys can do this yourself. I got Uber Suggest. I went on a free trial. Didn't even pay any money. I downloaded the information and then I stopped the free trial. So this was all free for me. Again, you don't need budget for this. And I pulled all their keywords. Okay, so they have 1,100 keywords. That's too much information. And the other key things it shows is volume, right? So 8,100 people are searching for Blue Sky Learning. That is probably because people are searching for Blue Sky, the Twitter competitor, right? And then this shows where they rank for it. And estimated visits is a very loose number. And then SEO difficulty, also just an estimation. And then it shows what pages it links to. So what I did, there's a couple things. I love using ChatGPT. You all can use something else, but whatever you like. So I went to ChatGPT and I just uploaded that sheet, and you can ask it a bunch of questions. So I would say, do two things for me. One, first, get rid of all the branded keywords. Branded keywords are people Googling for Blue Sky, Path LMS, stuff like that. You, for the most part, you don't really want to, you're not going to compete against that, right? Like they own it. Doesn't matter. Two, tell me what keywords I should target as Oasis LMS, a direct competitor. Now, your ChatGPT if you use the paid version, it should already know about you. If not, you needed to give it some more information. All right. As this is analyzing, be honest. Has anybody already gone to Ahrefs Authority Checker and put theirs in? See what they're at? Aubrey, yes. Anna. Okay, yeah. So that's why I waited to put it in until I actually finished talking because I figured it would be distracting. Okay, perfect. So ChatGPT, right? It just marked, is it branded for me? So here's my top refined non-branded opportunities. All of these were actually very, not all, but a lot when I did this. Best learning management system. It's actually not great, and that's too broad, right? I don't want to compete against the 100 other LMSs, but the volume's high. LMS features, learning management, LMS for healthcare. That's a big one for me. LMS in healthcare, top learning management system, and so on. And association LMS, which is actually the big one, it actually only gets 90 views a month. Maybe it's down to 70, but that is just like those 90 people are my target demographic, right? So it's really, and again, this is where it's a little more difficult for me to help you, but just by virtue of who you are, you probably know exactly what your members or segments of your members are interested in and looking for. That's the key part to all of this that I've skipped over, but like that's a part that's a little difficult for me to help with. So now it's kind of telling me, okay, here should be my primary targets, but I would have a conversation with this, right? Oh, okay, it's actually pretty right. Best LMS for associations, best healthcare, LMS features for associations, right? So it knows a little bit about me already, and it knows these are my targets. So that's information you should give it because I really don't want to go against this. That's wait. So like I'll put it in Google. Yeah, these are like these are competitors I would never go against, and who have they're billion-dollar companies, right? So again, as you're going against competitors, you want to make sure it's your right competitors. All right. So that was basically how I figured out what keywords to target. And then from there, it was blogging time. So I wrote 53 blogs in about 7 months. Again, I put in the chat if you are writing blogs, are you using ChatGPT AI in some manner? Go ahead and put that in the chat. Aubrey using it for newsletters. Awesome. Definitely helpful for that. Angie, okay, also for newsletters on LinkedIn. Perfect. So I will show you how my method of writing them. I don't necessarily recommend this. I recommend this for speed, which is what I was interested in. But there's different ways you can do this. But I basically, what I do is I create a folder in ChatGPT, excuse me, a project. It looks like a folder. And within a self-contained project, it knows it will remember everything within that blog. So if I give it general directions, like how I want my blogs written, it will remember that. So recently, I wanted to target, let me go to the top here. I wanted to target a keyword item bank. That's for exams and quizzing. And what I told it was, I want to target this word, but I don't want to compete against universities in K through 12. And I want it to reference, I just built this page, which is on our website, which talks about our functionality. And I said, go look at the SERPs, that's the search engine result pages, and tell me what I should do. And so ChatGPT looked at both my page and the search engine results. And it basically said, like, hey, here's what people are doing. And it shows me the links. And then I can kind of click on these links and real quickly look like this is a hypothetical competitor to me and kind of see, how what they're talking about, who they're targeting. Okay, so now it's telling me strategic blog angles, right? What is enterprise item banking? Why certification bodies need it? Certification bodies, that's my target market, right? So I don't want to compete against K through 12 and professional. Again, it knows my target market because I've told it that. And then what I usually have it do is I will have it write it. I will give it a glance. Now you'll notice it has lots of bullet points, right? What's up with that? That has to do with being picked up by AI search engines, bots, which also I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I've kind of catered mine for SEO and AEO. All right, final thoughts. And then I just said, hey, come on, man, this needs to be longer. Add more pros. It was just too bullet. It was a little too bullet point even for me. After I do that, what I'll do is I will copy the whole blog and put it into an AI detector. This is the cheapest free one there is. There's ones that are paid for like $10 a month. Those are much more high quality. And I'm going to put this in the chat here. It'll detect my text and I can see, okay, so this is 0%. Usually it'll come up and then I will copy and paste and I will start making it in my voice basically. So you should always go through it, obviously for accuracy, but also then to really put it in your voice and add in, kind of unique information is the best that, you would know or the topic you would know. All right. Any questions on really the SEO part? And I've got another poll here. So who here uses Google Search Console and knows what that is? Oh, okay. Oh my God. I thought I was going to get a lot more yeses. All right, I got one yes. Okay, Aubrey knows what it is. All right, last call. Share results. So either a lot of you don't know what it is, or you know what it is, but you're not using it. I've got one yes. So if you all are targeting keywords, which is really the basis of anything we're talking about, SEO, AEO, right? You want to be shown to people, whether it's an AI or on Google or Bing, Yahoo, whatever it might be, certain times. Google Search Console is how you do it. So I was not planning on actually going into it. I was just going to show you some screenshots. Um, but I'm going to go into it now unplanned because I think this will provide some value. Okay, Google Search Console. All right, so you do have to create an account in Google Search Console. You just have to verify your domain. Whoever has control over your domain, it's like literally clicking a button or typing in your password. Should take no more than 5 minutes. And you have to have a Google account. Okay. What this is I'm going to go to performance here. Let's start here. This first, what I like to do is this tracks keywords you're getting and both how many impressions and then how many clicks. So let's look down here. I can see in the last 3 months, people have searched Oasis LMS and 458 times they've clicked it, right? Which is clicked my website, which is what we want. I know I'm also targeting like keywords learning goal versus learning objective. So I've gotten 20 clicks from this, right? And so I'll scroll down. So healthcare LMS, LMS for healthcare, those are big keywords of mine. 7 people have selected, 7 people have selected. Impressions, right? That means someone has seen it, but they didn't like in the search engine results, but they didn't click it. So this is really the key way you should be tracking your keywords. So you might be going for, I'll pick on Gail again, courses for CPAs, right? Courses for my CPE certifications, right? That might be something you want to go after. Well, one, you have to see if you're even getting ranking for it, meaning like there's even impressions. And then this is the way you track if people are clicking on it. You can also use Google Analytics, but this is the one Google Analytics doesn't quite show you by keyword. So it shows you by page. So I like to look at keywords. You can use Google Analytics as well. Type in here if you're more familiar with Google Analytics than Google Search. Just yes is appropriate to my question. Are you more familiar with Google Analytics than Google Search? Okay. Anna Kelly, Google Analytics. Yeah. Okay. So good. I'm glad. Google Analytics, you should 100% use. I highly, highly, highly recommend Google Search is used as well. This is how you're going to track your keywords. And what I like to do is I will go by pages. And so kind of based on the blogs I've written, I know what keywords I'm targeting. So like here's one, 7 best white label LMS platforms. I know I was targeting uh, white label LMS platforms, or maybe best white label. Actually, let's do this. Continuing education LMS platforms, right? And so I can see in the last 3 months, I've gotten 86 clicks, right? I know it's working. I can see how many impressions. And then you can also see click-through rate, and average position. Average position, you got to take with a grain of salt. That means like in the top 10 results, I'm number 8. Changes all the time. I don't really trust it that much. And so I'll scroll down. Now, here's the interesting thing. When people typed in, or when they found my page, they were searching Oasis LMS. They were searching continuing education platform, LMS for continuing education. But here's the really interesting thing. If you add up these clicks, 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, and then 0, all the rest are 0 clicks, that's like 10. So does anyone have any hypotheses how it's set, why it says 86 here for this page, but only 10 below? I have a hypothesis that's unconfirmed, but I'm pretty sure it's the answer. But so again, Google's telling me, Google searches, I have 86 clicks on this page. But down here, when I look at on a per keyword basis, I'm just seeing 10 basically. Anyone, shout out your guesses as why that's happening. All right, everyone's being bashful, it seems like. So my speculation, and this is one of the big changes with Google and AI. Oops, did not mean to hit that. I meant to get a new tab. I'm going to type this. Okay. So you see there's this AI overview now, right? Let's see if I apply here. No, I didn't show up here. Got to work on that. But if I did show here or in any of these, how is Google counting these clicks? So my assumption is, because I don't, yeah, okay, I am here in the search results. But if I also show here, or maybe let's try best. Here we go. Okay, best platforms for, okay, so I do show here. So if someone clicks here, my sense is that's applying here. So that is a major change from only showing in the search results. Can I get some yeses if everybody's following along? And don't be bashful to say no and ask me some questions. Is this all making sense? Okay, perfect. Tracking, yes. Thank you all so much for participating. I really appreciate that. Good. Okay, so I'd highly recommend everybody who's not familiar with Google Search Console, get this up, start tracking your keywords, go to pages. There's a lot more you can do here. I am I like to do it good enough. I'm an 80% person, right? Just 80% done, and then I move on. I don't finish with the last 20%, but you can go much granular, compare it, web images. You can add all these filters by query, right? So maybe I just want to see education, right? So now on just this page, right, anytime I want to see any of the keywords that came with education or whatever word I just typed in, right? And then maybe I'll add in my average position so I can see where it is. I'd like to take this with a big grain of salt. All right, now I've got to move a little faster on time. Okay, talked about this. Okay, let's go back here. So from, I don't have any official reports. You probably could Google and find some. We're switching to AI leads now. ChatGPT, right? People searching for your courses in ChatGPT and then coming to you. Well, that's what we want. So my friend works at a company. He owns a company called Maestra.ai. They do live translations. So you start talking and it will translate captions, your words, and it can translate it into other languages. It's a transactional product more than so like you can buy it for, as low as $49 a month. They get I think they get about 25,000 views a day to their website. So they live and breathe SEO. And what they started to find was their ChatGPT leads produce 3 times more revenue than their SEO leads. I can confirm that as well in my limited data set. The people who came to me from ChatGPT They were just better qualified because ChatGPT is, right, it knows that person better and is recommending stuff tailored to what they know about them. So these leads so far as from what we've seen are higher value. So we want these. So what's changed? Um, I'm going to drop these in just a second, but it's really like people aren't typing keywords anymore. They're asking questions. Now, I will give you the TLDR. Amber just asked a great question. To clarify, you mean ChatGPT specifically and not the AI overview in Google? Um, yes. So in this last slide, the data set that we were looking at stuff just from ChatGPT, because we could see the source referral says like equals ChatGPT. So it may also apply to the Google overview on AI. I just don't we I can't demonstrate that for certainty. But that one we actually had the raw data on, Amber. Okay. The TLDR, SEO to AEO, not a lot has changed. Really. 90% of SEO applies to AEO. So everything I just the like all my first steps, I was not focusing on AEO at all. And by just doing all the previous steps, I started getting leads from ChatGPT naturally without and then I focused that last 10% to boost it, right? But you need to be doing targeting your keywords, giving them good content, right, that they're searching for, and making sure your website looks good, all that good stuff. Now, let me do it so I can copy and paste this. These are two videos that I highly recommend. They're not too long. This first one's um, from I think the CMO of HubSpot, Chief Marketing Officer. She's high up. It gives you a really good kind of some tips that I'm going to go over, just a good overall view. It's about 25 minutes. And then this one here, this is another good one. It's not as long, but what he basically says is he reiterates SEO and AEO, it's all kind of very similar. Um, oh, let's go back here. Basically, how AI chooses answers is it easy for AI to find, right? Because all these data centers are being built, right? Takes energy anytime the AI has to go search the internet, right? So is it easy to find? Is it obvious, clarity, plain language, not, academic language? And is it useful? Is this going to easily answer the question that the person asked to me, pretending I'm, ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever it might be? That's ultimately what it looks at. As a little bit aside, put in the chat, has anybody used any of these tools like Peak.ai, Profound? It's like Moz or Ahrefs or Uber Suggest, but for AI. Okay, Amber, no. No. Okay. There are some free versions. Uber Suggest has a free version of it as well, where you get up to like 3 searches a day. I would try them. My perspective is I don't love it. What it does is, if you can see here, I'm gonna zoom. Oh, this zoom, nice. Okay. You basically put in a keyword. So I put in association LMS. I think this was peak.ai, and AI comes up with prompts. So it's guessing what it thinks people are going to ask. What association LMS platforms offer the best member engagement features? What are the top LMS services designed for professional associations? So it's guessing that's basically what my target market is putting into, say, Perplexity, ChatGPT, Claude, etc. And then it goes out and asks all of those, and then it gives you back the results and shows you where you rank. So like on the side here, it says, your average rank is 2.5, or I think this is, your mentions, but Maple's mentioned, Absorb, Ethos, Forge. And then obviously there's a lot more, but I didn't pay for the free trial, pass the free trial. So this is an okay way to do this. I don't love it, particularly because it is really all of these questions it's guessing at. I think Profound has like a $400 a month version. My friend Ali, who owns Maestro, told me. where they actually do know what people are typing because they're really just using data from a company called WordStream. Um, and that basically tracks people's computers and like what they're typing. So that's really how they're getting their data. Like ChatGPT and Perplexity, none of those really release it. So feel free to check these out. I'm going to drop it in the Slack here. But I wouldn't put a ton of weight. Just use this as like one, metric as you're looking at everything. Oh, let me zoom out. Okay. Now, remember earlier I talked about the hacks. There's one slide I was going to have with hacks. This is it. So if you came for AI hacks and you haven't been paying attention, now is the time to really zone in. Um, Put in the chat, did you come here for AI hacks, or was that a part of why you came in? Just give me a yes if you want the AI hacks. All right, I guess it wasn't just for the AI hacks. I'm not getting a lot of yeses or nos. Okay. So remember we just talked about how AI wants things that are easy to find, basically, right? Obvious, etc. That's what the hacks I'm going to show you here. So things AI likes are structured. So remember I showed you my blog, it had a lot of bullet points. It was actually a little too much for me. Tables, lists, bullet points, AI really likes it because it can scan it very easily. AI also really likes FAQs. Now, one thing, this does need to be structured in what's called schema. Um, there's if you just Google it, there's an easy way to do it. But when you're setting it up on your website, if you just type like FAQ question answer, that doesn't quite do it. You have to just put some schema to it, which Google can do. But just know that. But it loves FAQs because it's right. Think about it. It's a quick question, and they can say, "Oh, my person asked exactly this," and it's a quick answer. Plain language. So again, I think it said you don't want to write more than a second or third grader, but you want to make it plain. Put the answer first. So, right, if you're trying to answer a question, what what are the best CME courses for obstetricians? I'm making that up, right? You want to put the answer in the first 100 words. Now, you don't want to make it completely biased, but you want to say, if you're an obstetrician looking for the best CME courses, right, looking at, this company, our brand's, website is a great place to start. I'm making this up, right? But again, AI is lazy, so if it can get the answer quick, it wants to do that to save energy. Ideally, there should be something unique. This actually applies to SEO and AEO. So some sort of new information, because if you offer zero information that's new, AI/Google can tell like you're just copy and pasting other stuff. Other things that, again, these are probably less important, but this is a little bit for Google, for if anyone's familiar with EEAT. Authority is the A in the EEAT, which is something Google follows. They want to know that they're who wrote it. So even just putting an author in bio and then a page with all your authors on your website, it helps because they say, oh, okay, this person has 10 years experience. Again, I think that's lower on the list. Okay. Can I get any yeses if this has been interesting so far? Or if anybody, yeah, let's get a yes if this is interesting so far. Excellent, excellent. Thank you all. All right, I hope you're not just saying this to make me feel good. So I am going to show you something now that was unbelievably interesting to me when I found it. So I was on ChatGPT typing my keywords that I want to like. I was pretending I was basically one of you saying like, what's the best LMS for my association and I need CE, right? Because I want Oasis to come up then, and so I don't know if I came up, but it'll show you the articles it's ranking or the articles it got it from. All right, I gotta exit out. And so here is one of the articles that came up. Okay, look at this article. So the 10 best association learning management systems. So clearly, right, I want to be in that. And I'm going to skip ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. This wasn't. This is a really good article I want to be in, but this is not the one I was actually talking about that blew my mind. It was this one, Sana Labs. Okay, read this thing right here, everyone. I'll pause for a moment. They have built this blog for AI and LLM search, right? And again, it's good to rank in these because it's by industry. Aubrey, you had read this article? Okay, yeah. And so look at everyone who hasn't read it. This is really not meant for human eyes. Like to me, this is too much, right? But just like I was saying, right? They did a chart, right? Here's the LMS platform, the fit, what it can do with ALM, integration depth. Look at that. And then it just gives bullet points on each one, right? Like this would not be, and the pricing, right? This would be kind of annoying to read as a human, right? We're used to more prose. And that's how they wrote this. Yes, Aubrey. Yeah, exactly. You didn't go through the article because it's really not meant for human eyes. And so I did, I asked my friend Ali, who works at Maestra, and like he's actually, I didn't mention this, he's writing a PhD paper on this actually. Or maybe it's his master, sorry. I don't want to give him too much credit. Um, Now here is the one thing, and I said, is all of the internet going to turn into this, and we only talk to ChatGPT or our AI assistant? Now, if you watch that second YouTube video I sent, AI has two types of searches. One is, and I'm going to blank on the names. One is if you ask what's a red blood cell, AI will already know that because there's stuff it knows that doesn't change, and it does not need to search the internet. Now, for a lot of what you're doing, find me a course about this. Why should I become a member? Blah, blah, blah. That stuff is always changing. So that's not part of what it's called. Its core knowledge. And it has a specific term that I'm blanking on. So that's where it has to go into the web. And it will use basically Google. I think sometimes it uses Bing to search. So this article, as much as it's tailored for um, AI, if it doesn't rank on Google, doesn't have to rank 10, it just has to be on, you could be number 1,000, right? It just has to be there. AI will never find it. So no matter what, your articles still have to be in Google. And why Google Search Console is so important is because, um, let me just pull up my website real quick. Whenever you launch a new page, and maybe someone on your team is doing this, but it doesn't get ranked right away, so you can inspect it. So you see, I can confirm it is on Google, but if it wasn't on Google, I can request indexing. Or if you update a page, this is a faster way to put in the queue to get updated. So you want to always make sure it's on Google, or AI is never going to find it. All right, cancel. I don't really need it to do that. Now, the last really big thing is brand visibility versus backlinks. Give me a yes if you know what backlinks are. I did define it earlier, but I said it quickly. So give me a yes if you know. Yes. Yes. Okay. So I'm not going to get tons of yeses. I need to remember. Perfect. Thank you, Brittany, for your honesty. So a backlink, I'll just show you a backlink. Let's go to my blog here. Blog. Okay, so here's my blog. Okay, perfect. This is a backlink. So I'm talking about increasing revenue for your professional or trade association, and I linked it over to kellencompany.com, partner of ours. So Google views that as me giving some of my authority to Kellen. That's the classic backlink. That's what you get spam for. Everybody wants backlinks the past 20 years of Google, 25. Okay? AI does not need the link. A mention. So if I had just mentioned Instead of saying your professional trade session, I said, as Kellen has mentioned, blah, 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 but I never linked it. AI wants mentions, brand mentions. So the links from an AI perspective are not as important, but the mentions are. And so instead of linking using like a keyword, right, you want them to link now if they do link with your brand name or just your brand name. So that is different. So you might start seeing people saying like, "Hey, instead of giving me a link, can you just mention my brand?" And so that is a big difference. Now, one last bonus tip. I'm going to show you one final thing. Um, my friend Ali, who runs Maestra, saw a potential hack. It may already be outdated, but it seems like AI is taking relevancy into a factor. So like on my blogs, I've been writing, best continuing education blogs in 2026. So, right, because they know, AI knows, oh, someone's searching this today, they probably don't want an article from 10 years ago, right, of what was popular then. So that could have already changed, but it is something you can test. Aubrey's asking a general question. What do you recommend for associations that have members only web content that's keyword rich? Is it possible to index that for AI? Um, so Aubrey, I'm assuming it's behind a wall. So I'm not positive. I would love if anyone else jumped in. I do know ChatGPT can get through walls sometimes, but it's a lot more difficult, I believe. Um, what you could do is publish some stuff, but not linked from your website, right? So if someone goes to your website, they can't find it, but publish it, hidden you as a hidden URL, but then have Google scrape, crawl it, and then ChatGPT will be able to find it. Has anyone else? It's a really good question from Aubrey. Has anyone else have that thought or question? All right, so we got a couple minutes left. Thank you, Aubrey, for a great question. So I know a lot of you are in the education space. Some of you might be using, or I know a lot of you are using Oasis, but if you're not using Oasis, this will apply. So here's Oasis. Here is a course web page. Okay. This is public facing, right? You can see I am logged in, but you don't have to be logged in to see this, as many of you know. This might be on your AMS as well. It is its own unique URL. So this is all crawlable by Google. Other LMSs have a very similar thing, crawlable by Google. But this information here, what we call the front matter, where you're describing this course, right? This is where you might want to start trying those tips and tricks. Put in bullet points. If, again, this is difficult, but why would someone want to buy this? Put that answer in the first couple sentences. Okay. Now, there's general information, right? You're going to have to put in here, especially on the medical side, disclosures and all that. But this is a really keen area if you want someone to just find a particular course. Um, for those of you on Oasis, I did not know this when I just found this out a week ago and I scheduled this a month ago. But part of one of our AI agents in tier 2, which isn't released yet, is a marketing guru. And the goal is actually to do what I'm talking about here, is to automatically make this type of stuff pretty and more likely to be grabbed by AI. Again, and SEO again. More likely does not mean yes, that's 100% going to happen. But so this is an easy place on the course side to do it. So last and not least, one final poll, and I'm hoping I get the answer I want. I will implement something I learned here within the next 3 months. I gave you 3 months. All right, I'm getting a lot of yeses. Can you, everyone, type in what you think you can implement? Okay, bye, Gail. All right, lots of yeses. Someone sures that's quite okay. Anyone want to type in what your takeaways are? Updating FAQ schema, bullet point, clarity for content. Yes, Aubrey, absolutely. All right. Now, Google Search Console. Yes, Angie, that's an amazing place to start. Now, um, I purposely did not schedule anything after this. If you are interested, we can continue the conversation in a Google meeting, excuse me, a Zoom meeting. There is zero pressure, but if I get any yeses in the next minute, I will send out a link and it'll be more collaborative so everybody can jump in because I do have some time. If not, there is no pressure. Thanks, Aubrey. All right. Well, no one's going to take me up on that offer. That is quite okay. Thank you all so much for coming. Any questions? You probably all know me. You got my email, but here's my email again. Happy to chat about marketing at any time. It's what I do. All right. Thank you, everyone.